Uh, hello? Hello?
Welcome, contestant. You don't know where you are, but that's perfectly alright. I'm in need of a little entertainment, and you're gonna have to do.
Uh, alright. Do what?
Come up with a story. I don't care the length, all I know is I want it to be a medieval story. The rest is up to you.
Alright. Medieval. Any restrictions?
Nope. Medieval setting. Knights, dragons, demons, all that nice stuff. Just come up with a story for me. I'm sure you've got something rattling around in your head.
Alright. Kind of putting me on the spot there. Do I get any time to prepare?
Nope, you've just gotta start talking. You can end whenever you're finished with the story. Don't leave it on a cliffhanger.
Alright. Um, alright. So, our story begins in the ancient kingdom of Tibethia, where the king has recently gone missing. There was recently a battle which he took part in. After the battle was completed, however, he was nowhere to be seen. His son, the Prince Darrell, was also there. However, he had no sight of his father. During the battle, they had gotten separated. But after searching all of the corpses from the battlefield, his father was not one among them. Fearing that his father had suffered a injury of some sort, he searched nearby villages but was unable to find his father. After a year of searching, the kingdom had given up hope and crowned Prince Darrell as king. Now, during his time as king, a traveler came who remarked in the courtyard how he had seen a man of great stature living in their village. And he said that the man did not speak, however, was very strong, kind, and assistive. Now, besides the not being able to speak part, the now King Darrell noticed that this may be his father, the king, because, similar build, a man who is large and strong. And the king was known previously for having been kind and just to his subjects. So he goes to the village with a few knights, like 3. So Darrell gets to the village to try, see if that is his father. But when he gets there, suddenly something's wrong. He feels it the moment they're in the village. And then suddenly a shadow falls across the whole village, as if there were a massive cloud overhead. But the sun was still out. Where was the shadow coming from? Then, in front of him, Darrell saw a demon wearing his father's armor. It taunted him for being gullible enough to leave his castle. As he prepared for battle, the demon assured him, "No, I'm not here for a fight. You are going to have to solve my challenge. If you complete this challenge, then I will show you where your father is, for I've kept him hidden all these years." Prince Darrell thought, and agreed to the terms. He would get his father back. The demon then pointed at a nearby forest. "If you can make it through that forest and come back with an object within, I'll give you back your father." King Darrell thought, that'll be easy. So he agreed, and he left, leaving his knights behind with the demon. As he entered the forest, he pondered upon the demon's words. Any object. Take an object back. He didn't know quite what the demon had meant. Had he meant there's a specific object, or any object? Would any object do? He didn't know. After he thought for a little bit, he tried to pick up a stake. Surprising, his hand went right through it. He quickly checked. No, his hand was still solid. He was still solid. The forest was an illusion. He looked as close as he could. It seemed real, but the moment his hand went towards anything, it would shimmer and disappear, his hand passing right through it. At that point he realized there was a real object hidden within this forest, and he would have to find it. He began walking, before realizing something. The demon had pointed in a specific direction, and as he looked, he saw that he was still pointing. The demon stood there, frozen. Then, as he saw, the knights appeared frozen as well. That's when he realized the forest was completely an illusion, completely all around him. He was trapped. Or was he? As he looked closer, he saw that the demon was pointing right behind him. As he turned around, he saw more forest. With no other option, he continued through. As he continued down the path, he saw something out of the ground. It seemed different than the world around. His hand went through it, and he grabbed it. It was a crown. Old, dented. As he inspected it closer, he saw that it was his father's, the king's crown. Excited, he spun around and dashed out of the forest, towards the demon. Here, the object in your forest of illusions. The demon was shocked. How had he managed to fool him? He pointed at it, yes, but he shouldn't have been able to remember. He sent him into the forest at a different point. Well, being a demon of his word, he let his father go, and his father appeared before him. The demon departed, back into his hellish domain, and as the king and the old king were about to depart, they heard a noise. Startled, they turned around and saw within the forest a fairy. The king went over, King Daryl, and asked if the fairy had need of anything. The fairy said, "No, all I needed was that your father be reunited with you." As he pondered what this had meant, the fairy continued, "As you can see, this is the forest of illusion. I have lived here for centuries. And then, I saw that demon place a crown down. I did not know what he was going to do, but I knew that something was amiss. When I saw you enter the forest, and I saw him pointing, I saw him shift his arm to point you in the wrong direction. So I took and froze, as if an image were there, of him still pointing at the crown to guide you to the right location." Daryl thanked the fairy, and she said that no thanks was necessary, and disappeared within the forest of illusion. Successful, the prince returned home. The kingdom was overjoyed for the return of their old king. Prince Daryl offered to stand down and become prince again, but his father said no. It was now his turn to be king. Well, what do you think?
That seemed interesting. Although it did seem a little bit wrapped up near the end. You seemed to fast forward through that puzzle.
Well, you did kind of put me on the spot. I was gonna think of a riddle or something, but it started sounding like a TED Talk.
I don't know what a TED Talk is, so I'm just gonna have to take your word for it. But that was very entertaining. I'm going to have to invite you back for another one of these.
Sure, but any warning?
Nope, it seems that you're really good at impromptu storytelling. Either that, or you're good at improv. Either way, you can make stuff up on the spot. It does seem, however, that you've had some practice with this. Have you?
I mean, I like making background for characters, but besides that, not really.
Interesting. Well, I'll definitely have to invite you back. You need to make up some new stories in different settings, and I'll be here to enjoy all of them.